Are you ready to take your leadership journey to the next level? On the leadership platform TLP, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This year, we are bringing you cutting-edge insights, transformative tools, and real-world strategies to help you lead with confidence, purpose, and impact. This year, we have 4 seasons with 50 episodes. We will dive into themes such as leading self, leading others, and leading institutions. We bring you Leaders Are Readers. This monthly session focuses on book reviews, discussions, encouraging all participants to read along with selected books on personal leadership and professional leadership. We also have a Time with the CEO. In this segment, we dive into the stories of prominent CEOs who share their insights, lessons learned throughout their leadership journey. We also bring you extraordinary leadership stories, highlighting individuals in our societies who are doing extraordinary things. This segment inspires viewers with real-life examples of leadership in action. We will bring you some brilliant minds, courageous leaders changing the narrative of Africa. We also bring you, finally, the expert-led sessions, which cover a wide range of leadership and personal development topics, providing practical guidance and actionable strategies for personal and professional development. The leadership platform is your go-to space for personal growth, professional breakthroughs, and meaningful connections. I am Joy Bunsu-Schmutz, co-host on TLP, and I will see you every Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT, live on YouTube and Facebook.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited to be with you this evening. I'm excited because we are beginning the new year, and I want to wish all of you a very, very happy new year. I hope that your festive seasons were festive and that you enjoyed yourself, you and your family, and all that you planned for yourself. I know also that you have begun the year with a new spirit, with a new attitude, with a new vim to be able to achieve greater things in 2025. And that is why I'm excited, because at CTL Africa Leadership, we are here to partner with you on that journey of growth to help you to become your better self that you aim to be. So please join us on this journey. We are going to be with you 52 weeks of 2025. As we started last week, we started with the greatest example of a leader of Jesus Christ, and we gave you the model that he led with, and we hope it was helpful. So go ahead and invite your friends, invite your family, your colleagues, your bosses, and your church members, and everybody who is interested in leadership and personal growth. Go ahead and invite them, because today we have our special session on a time with the CEO, and very shortly I'm going to introduce our guests and we're going to start rolling. If you have connected either on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, please introduce yourself. We would like to know who is joining us. So tell us your name and where you are joining from, and we will be happy to announce you to the whole wide world. We know that so many of you connect every week. We have 300-400 people connecting, but not many of you introduce yourself. We understand that some of you want to be at the background, but we take pleasure in introducing you to the world. So go ahead and let's know where you are joining from. I have Queen Doris watching live. Thank you so much. Where are you watching from, Doris? Then I have Odihan's shop. Well, sure that is the name of the shop. Tell us your name and where you're joining from. I have Anchi Malik. Yes, I know he's one of our regulars joining from Kumasi. So I know Olive Okine, also one of our regulars, and this is a precious and peaceful brand new year to CTL and team in 2025. Thank you so very, very much. Good. Let's see who else is here. Of course, the team is here. Sarah Jessie Apia is here from Switzerland. Joy is here. Vivian is here. And the whole team is here from CTL Africa Leadership just to support you. Foster Bediakun Bafu is here from Kumasi. Thank you. The Kumericans are in town. Comfort Victoria Ashley is here, joining from Awoshi. Comfort, thank you so much. Philipque is here also from Ghana, Legon. The Legonites are also here. We have Paul Opoku Nkrumah is also here. And he says, I'm Paul. Next, is it Nextit Business Systems? All right, great. So it's good that all of you are here and we're going to start rolling. As you are aware, every month we bring you a CEO and to share his or her story with us. And for the first time with CEO session this year, we have an amazing woman of many parts. And she is a procurement and supply specialist for over 30 years. And when I talk 30 years, she's a mother and a wife for over 33 years. So, 30 and 33 rhyming somewhere there. Yes, she has 30 years of experience in procurement and logistics and project management. Now she's working many institutions. She will share with us the Ministry of Education, Crown Agents of Ghana Limited, Fidelity Bank, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply in the UK, and in various capacities as a procurement specialist and procurement manager, procurement advisor, head of procurement, country manager for SIPS Ghana. This is an amazing woman. She holds a diploma in estate management from KNUST and executive masters in project management from the University of Ghana. She's a chartered procurement professional and a fellow of Chartered Institute of Procurement. And she's also a distinguished fellow of the Institute. And many more. And she's married to Daniel Addo, a financial analyst. I mean, I can go on and on, but since she's here herself, I'm going to bring her because she's not only just a professional like that, but she's on several boards. And I don't want to take the wind out of her sail. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our guests to the platform, to the leadership platform, Mrs. Stella Aku Addo, my own good friend. And yesterday she confirmed that I'm still have my position as a boyfriend. Stella, the whole wide world knows, including Mr. Addo, that I'm still in the league for a boyfriend position. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you too.
In fact, we are very excited to have you as our first guest for this year, 2025. So let me start by wishing you a very happy new year. That God bless you and all your dreams. You are sharing some of the visions you are working on with us and with me yesterday. So I pray that God helps you to go. And just tell us, how did you spend all these beautiful days, Christmas, New Year, and so forth?
Thank you, Samuel. And I'm so privileged also to have this platform to share my experiences and to inspire and also to encourage others on. And also very privileged to be the first speaker for this year. The Christmas has been quiet. In fact, I had quite a number of activities the Christmas, but I spent it quietly reflecting. I got engaged in December, I got married in December, and I have my birthday too in December. So quite three activities. But in all these three activities, I spent it quietly with my husband, but more importantly, reflecting and on the next phase of my life and what I want to do. And in summary, basically, I think I've gathered a lot of experience at 30 years, and I think it will be very unfair on my part not to share, those experiences gathered. So I'm trying to put something together, and when it's ready, I'll launch it and share,
Wow.
especially with the youth and especially with the women, the
Wow.
female biased a little. So that's how I spent
Wonderful.
my Christmas. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is just like the eagle, goes right into the deep of the mountains, into the rocks, just to prune all the old feathers, remove the pig and everything, and try to put himself through all the pain and regenerate. And that is what I'm hearing. You are regenerating, and we'll be here to share the story on the way forward. But today, we want to look on the way back and the lessons that we have learned. So let's see how we want to start. We want to start from the very beginning. Who is Mrs. Stella Addo?
Okay. So Mrs. Talado is a young woman,
Yes, I know.
a young, ambitious woman, very resilient, very determined. I don't give up very easily. And I also like breaking barriers and also, aspiring higher. So right from my childhood, I've been like a tomboy or girl, if you put it that way. And I've always been with the male species more than the female. And my reason is very simple. There's a lot to learn when you have friendship with the males because they always are discussing politics, economics, a lot of things. Whereas when you associate more with a female, you get a lot of gossips. So I'm not the gossip type. I'm more like I want to hear something, I want to give a solution to something. So that is basically Stella. But I come from a family of four siblings. A family of four siblings. I'm the first of the four siblings. We are two ladies and two gentlemen, and they are all grown and working. All one is staying in UK, and the three of us are in Ghana in various fields.
Okay.
I'm in procurement and supply chain. My sister is in pharmacy, and my brothers are in other fields. So basically, Stella is somebody who, like I said, doesn't give up easily, likes to pursue a few things. And because of that spirit of determination and not giving up, I realized when I had an interview with a gentleman from New Times, that was the first time I realized that I had been like a pace setter in quite a number of things. The first of this, the first of that, the first of that. And even as you can see, by divine intervention, I'm the first on your platform for this year. So
Yes, and we are excited.
I didn't ask for that. I didn't do anything, but by God's divine provision, it looks like He always places me to be the first of something, so that I can
Good.
inspire others to also, follow. So
Oh,
basically, that is Stella.
good, 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 good. Well, Nana Jane has taken the first vice P, but the first president is still available. So we will look out. We'll look out for it.
I hope
Yes.
so.
Yeah. Now, just on the side, when you talk about always being with the men, a friend of mine says when the women meet, they talk about three things. They talk about food, they talk about clothing, and they talk about men. How true is that?
Oh, it is true. I mean, there are some women who also, the ambitious ones like me will be talking about, enterprise, economy, and other things. But basically when women meet, I don't know whether it's because of they're looking at home and all those things. So when we have a chance to meet, it's more to relax. So the
Mm-hmm.
first thing to do is to look for good food and
Mm-hmm.
also to refresh yourself, and then
Mm-hmm.
also to have some conversations around what will make me look more attractive and good. So
Mm-hmm.
basically they are tuned towards that, but
Mm.
that's not all we discuss. I think we discuss things from our children to our husband to our homes to quite a
Mm-hmm.
number of things, and sometimes it's seen lightly, but in those discussions a lot of lessons are learned and a lot of experiences are shared, even in the
Yeah.
food. You'll be
Mm.
surprised that women will meet at a hotel, they'll be eating, and then they are looking at the food, looking at the type of things, and even the way the thing has been served, plated, and then the decoration and things like that. And by the time they finish, they pick a few things back home. So women
Yeah.
are always learning, whether it's on
Yeah.
shoes or on dress or the ambience. They learn
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When the men are just trying to solve problems all the time, talk even on the food, we are talking hard things, and
Yes.
they said that in every generation the women dress the way men would like to see them because the average man can better see than think. How true is that with women?
It's partially true. I think some men are also very observant and also go beyond that. But like you said, most men meet at those eatery and all those places not necessarily because of the food, but to do some business. So they go focused. I mean, they are meeting business partners or something. So they go straight and focus. Even if we go for a business meeting, we will still have the time, a little bit of chit chat,
Mm-hmm.
to ease the tension and talk about your hairstyle or how good you are looking and things like that. So it looks like we are geared towards that, but men also do that. And when they look good, I think men also compliment each other and say, "Oh, look, brother, you are looking good. You are smelling good." I think they go more for the smell. If you have some nice cologne, they'll say, "Ah, you're smelling nice." Women will look at the physical, what you are wearing, your hair and your lipstick and things like that. But I
Yeah.
think men also do a little bit of the flexibility when it's necessary. But
Yeah.
most times, if you are focused on what they want to do, and then they go do it, and then they leave. So
Good.
so it's partially true, but
Great discussion here. We'll come back to your young days, but whilst we are on this subject, because you've broken some glass ceilings, you've managed in the business world. Is there a difference between how men lead and how women lead? Because from this discussion, we know that women are different from men. It doesn't mean men are better or women are better, but we're just different. But there's also sometimes that women feel like they have to be men, be the way men are. Otherwise, they cannot fit into the corporate world. And so sometimes women come across as unnatural, if you want. And I don't know what you think about that and what your advice to women will be as far as when women are in position, corporate life, and so on.
okay. So what I have to say about that is that when men are leading, they pretend they don't show emotions, but they do have it. But they women are so emotional. So when and that's part of us. So when a woman is leading and she wants something, then you see her come and you feel all her problems and all the frustration. She will demonstrate it. I mean, you can see in the facial expressions, you can see in the tone, you can see in everything. The man will bottle most of those things and will come straight to, can you get this done for me, and things like that. But I think both of them lead depending on the industry they find themselves in. Some industries are flexible, and some industries are so tough, whether you're a male or female. You have very strict deadlines to meet, you have a lot of financial targets to meet. It's so stressful. So whether you're a man or woman, that stress will be on you, and then that is how you see you leading your team. So if the team is not getting you what you want to also deliver to the top level, you become very frustrated and very agitated. But if the industry is flexible, so I think the difference is really in the industry and what you are doing, more than being male or female, and also the kind of position you are holding. If you're in the middle level, it's a bit flexible. When you are at the top, there's so much pressure on you. You have to deliver. And therefore, whether male or female, they both tend to be very unfriendly. They don't even can't say even good morning to anybody because they want results. Your boss is on you constantly. So that is it. But for the women, the advice I want to give them is that it doesn't matter whether the sex, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever you are. The most important thing is that God has placed you into a position and you need to give out your best skills to be able to deliver whatever you've done. I've always lived with whatever position I found myself in, even at the lowest level. I told myself I have to do it and do it well so that others would, appreciate it and thank God for my life. So I had this kind of thing that you do not have a second chance to explain. I was lucky to have been brought up by some kind of bosses that will tell you you have to impress the first time. So right from your dressing to your speech to whatever you do, whenever you have that opportunity or whatever when you have the stage, do it and do it well. Because you may not have the chance to go back and explain to the person, oh, today I didn't do it well because I was a bit moody or I was sick or that. You can't get that opportunity to explain. So why don't you give up your best, whether you're a male or female? So women should we are emotional beings, but when you get to the workplace, let's try as much as possible to put that emotion a little bit down and then do what is expected of us. But don't blame the women. It's always because like we are competing in the space. No, but my story as I unfold it, you see that I've been competing and competing because in the procurement field, that's where I find myself. It's male dominated. The males are always at the top. The woman is always the best they can put you is in the middle, belt. So you are always struggling. You are always fighting. So you look so aggressive. You are, that sort of thing. So it looks like always the women are like fighting for something. And with time, I think they will understand. I mean, as I unfold and share my story, you realize that shouldn't have been the approach, but that is where we find yourself. So we normally tend to do that. Yes.
Yeah. Great. We're already into it. But they said that, leaders and all of us are formed sometimes by our backgrounds. So let's go back to how you grew up. You said, well, 4 families. Where did you grow up and how was the environment, the family environment, and how has that background shaped who you are, if any?
Okay, so I grew up with my we were 4 siblings and with my family in Kumasi. And my father was a
Americans are in town.
America, yes. My father was a quantity surveyor. And then my mother was a nurse. She worked at Comfanochi, and my father also worked at a Building and Road Research Institute. So being with those two, my mom would do the normal women thing, but my dad would not give me the chance to have that flexibility. So he was very strict, very, very, very strict with me. And I remember sometimes even when he's going to the field, he would take me and I used to hold his instruments, that he used for doing surveying. So that also developed a bit of my tomboy nature. So I have to wear jeans and follow him, and then we go to the field. And I loved doing that. I loved being in the field, the raw field. So he was very strict, especially on me, and told me because I was the eldest, I had to live up to some standards so that the younger ones will look up to me. So I didn't have the flexible type of life. You always there was something that was being demanded of you from my father. And he did that. But it's very interesting. Sometimes when you are going through that, I had it tough. In fact, even when I finished I got my common entrance and I was going to my secondary school, my father would not even allow me to perm my hair or do anything to my hair. Because he said, you see, you didn't do well in the papers. You didn't get the A grades. You got something that you passed. Now, assuming I want to take you to the university or any place to show you, and then you have done that kind of hair, it will tell me that your daughter is not serious, she's not learning. So, and I didn't understand some of those things. It was worrying. He will not allow you to wear trousers. He said women don't wear trousers. Very, very strict background. But what I realized in life was that little did I know that I was also going to marry a strict husband. So that training was to build me and give me all the shock absorbers to be able to stay with this man for 33 years, as you have said. So I thank my daddy for that, because if he had not trained me to be tough, I don't think I would be that tough lady that I am today.
Yeah.
So he actually made me do a lot of things that were more masculine. And all
Yeah.
those things were to train me to come into marriage with another strict disciplinarian.
Yeah.
you know.
We'll talk a bit about marriage. Sometimes they say that we marry our mothers or marry our fathers somehow.
Yeah.
But what is the naughtiest thing you did as a child?
Naughtiest thing. What? I did a lot. There's a lot of tomboy things I did. I remember when I was when I was a child. We were living in a 6-6 flat, and then during my time when we were born, there was only me and a lady in the two flats that were female. All the other people were male, so we didn't have female friends to play with. So I remember we used to some of the things we would do is that there's no tree, some that I can't climb. We will leave our house when our parents go to work. We will leave and then go to, there was these bungalows in KNUST that the lecturers, had that. And they had very succulent fruits, very, very succulent fruits. And they don't give it out. And the fruits are there, and, as children, so want to be naughty. So we would go there with the men, and then there will be somebody under the tree. We, the women, will be collecting the things under the tree. The men will go up, then they'll be plucking, will be collecting. And these expatriates, they had dogs. But we dared it. We went there, we stole some of those things, and then came back home. And it was like an adventure, and we're so happy when we were successful. But one time, one of the boys was caught. I mean, we had to leave him on the tree and then come back. So those adventures were very interesting, very, very interesting, because it taught you how to be very tough, and then you had to be alert, to be looking around. And then you also had to maneuver between the dogs. When they are coming, you have to run and find places where you can run through and the dogs will not be able to, bite you. Very, very dangerous adventures. But these are some of the naughty things I did.
Wow. How has that built into your personality as a leader, some of those things?
Well, it did build into my personality because, because I was always with the male, I learned how to be tough. And then when I went to my sixth form, I went to Accra Academy for sixth form. I also boldly applied to Accra Academy for sixth form. And 80, 83, 80, 85. You'll be surprised. I went there thinking that quite a number, they had extramural there. So you had a few females joining them. But here I got there, and I was the only female in the assembly hall.
Hey.
Yes, the only female in the assembly hall.
Was Accra Academy a male school?
It was a male school, but not in boarding. They had extramural. Yes, so the female came, but those other female were not allowed in the mainstream. But I applied and got admission. So I went there they were in their green and khaki. I went there in my check, dress, thinking that I was going to meet females. And then I was the only female in the assembly hall. And then, so if I had not been with the male and know how to associate with the male and things, I think I would have been very shy. I wouldn't have been able to fit in. And then, I was a sixth former. I could boldly walk to the form ones, go and call them and ask them to come and sweep some of the room and do some of the things that the male were also commanding them to do. So it was like, that was a bit of the leadership, because then I had learned how to be tough, in very, very tough situations. So I didn't feel shy. Wherever I found myself, I was just able to quickly just maneuver and then do things. So those experiences really helped. But what it taught me most was integrity, you see, because what we were doing there was not integrity. We were going to steal people's fruits and things. So when I grew up, I realized that you don't have to take somebody's things that don't belong to you, because it's risky, it's not the best. And after we ate the fruits, and the joy was you've eaten it, but what next? And you didn't feel very, very, very happy. So I also learned the lesson of how to do things, genuinely and use integrity, which helped me throughout the rest of my life and through my journey.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Great. So now we know you went to Accra Casis form, but where was primary and secondary?
So primary, I was in Kumasi, so I went to University Primary.
Okay, you were a Dadaba, aren't you?
Yes, I was a Dadaba.
Yeah, you just Dadaba. That's why you grew up in the Beware of Dogs house, you know.
Yes, I was at Dadaba. I went to KNUST primary school, and then even in KNUST primary school, when I remember some of the naughty things that you asked, I would go and swing. And then when you swing, sometimes you tear your dress and something. When you get home, you get a lot of lashes. But I wasn't prepared by the lashes. I would go and swing and then come and my father would beat me. Then I'll go again and do it again. But I enjoyed the swing. It was so nice in university primary. We had a swimming pool at that time to which we were taking there from the school to go and swim and then come back. But trust me, I didn't know how to swim. So I always went to the baby pool. While the others were in the big pool, I was always in the baby pool. And then from KNUST, I went to Accra Girls. Accra Girls. So that was a time that I then left my parents and family in Kumasi and then came to Accra. And so after Accra Girls, I stayed with my few aunties and things. And then in Accra Academy, sixth form, I also stayed with my uncle at Mataiko. So I left my parents and the family until university. When I went back to KNUST, that's when I reconnected back with my family. But I had the earlier parts with the family and then left them from 1 to 5 and then sixth form and was staying with my aunties and uncles in Accra. Yes. So basically.
Good. What type of student were you in secondary school days and then into university? What type of student? I mean, we can see that you were naughty in the young days, and as you were growing, were you still naughty?
No, I wasn't naughty. When I went to Accra Girls, interesting enough, when I went to Accra Girls, which is one of the schools that people always say, in fact, I stayed in Accra Girls from Form 1 to Form 4 without knowing that you could even jump the wall. That people used to say that you could jump the wall. There used to be some soldiers, staying behind the wall. People used to jump it. But I didn't know that because the moment I got into Form 1, I got a Christian sister that I used to sleep like a fab. So I was sleeping on top of her. And so she straight away introduced me to Scripture Union. So it's like caged me. And I think it was good because if she had allowed me to have still gone wild, maybe I don't know what I would have been.
You would have scaled all the walls.
But so she caged me, made sure that when she's going to Scripture Union from Form 1 to Form 5, she would always take me. And when she left the school, she put me into the hands of another sister, to continue. And interesting enough, I never met her when I left the school until recently. I went to a friend's 60th birthday. Wow. And then I met her. I didn't know she was there. We were sitting on the same table talking, and then she mentioned the name Margaret. I said, "Are you Margaret Amposa?" She said, "I said, you were do you know that you were the first person who introduced me to Christ?" And then she said, "Oh, then we connected again." But she did a really good job in my life, and then that also shaped my life and then gave me focus. Because otherwise, like I said, I started as a tomboy, climbing all sorts of trees, except coconut tree, which was what in Kumasi. But I could climb every single tree. I knew how to do it very well. So that was how it was. But the secondary school was also a bit, like I said, I went Accra Girls, Christian throughout. And then when I got into the sixth form, it's the same thing. I also had to follow the Christian life again, to continue it till university. So that changed my the way I was a bit. But that is
so
it.
you were Krife?
Yes, I was Krife. I was Krife. So that toned me down a bit, But it didn't mean that I didn't do quite a few, skirmishes here and there. But
a few naughty things.
A few naughty things, but not too much. Not too much. And one of the interesting stories I'll also drop with that. I met my husband. He came to teach me at Accra Academy, but we didn't connect then. It was after he had left and gone, and then we connected. So I'll tell that story later, another day.
So the man was teaching and he was looking inside.
No, he wasn't looking inside, but I was rather looking at
him anyway. So
I was looking at him, but I went to Accra. I went to Accra Academy with some sort of determination. So at that time, I wasn't interested in a relationship because when I was in Accra Girls, I was an art student, but I was very good. I was between the first 5, very, very good. So I decided that I wanted to go to a boys' school to find out whether I was that good.
Mm.
The subjects I chose was geography, English literature, and economics. So, and a
Hey,
very tough combinations.
yes.
I didn't have time to be doing friendship and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I went there and I wanted to, excel. So that is because Akraka then had a very good geography master and a good English literature, mistress. So I wanted to, polish that. So I
Yeah.
went there, competed with the boys. So when my husband came, he came to teach a little bit of geography as a teaching practice from he was with then University of Cape Coast. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have much time to fool, but my subjects were very, very tough. And so
Yeah.
that is where then my Christian training helped me because
Yeah.
being the only lady among the men, I'm sure I would have gone wayward if I didn't have that
Yes.
solid Christian training.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you advise students in secondary school these days? They do all sort of things. There's a bit more freedom in the campuses these days, and they're experimenting with all sort of things. What would be your advice to them?
In fact, my advice to the young people is that, as I said, I was in Accra Girls and some people were jumping the walls, but I didn't. So I
Mm.
always believe that those things are your choices. They are the
Mm-hmm.
choices that you make. So
Yeah.
I always advise the young that others may be doing it, but
Mm.
don't do it because others are doing it. Find out
Mm-hmm.
what it is they are doing. If it doesn't sit with your beliefs and your values, and you look at it and you realize that this thing is just pleasure, I mean just quick pleasure, but I will not get any benefit out of it, do not join in it. You will look queer, people will laugh
Yeah.
at you, they will call you all sorts of names, but at the end of the day you see that you'll be better off. And I have carried this principle throughout all my working life till now. I mean, I
Yeah.
could be in a company, people are doing things, I will not join them. And they find me a bit queer, that you are a bit,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know how to say, old school or off. And I said, that is fine. According to
Mm-hmm.
my principles, I don't do this and I'll stick to
Yeah.
it. So my
Yeah.
advice to them is that all those vices are there: drinking, smoking, occultism, all those things are there. And if you want to join it, you join it. But
Yeah.
you have to be very, very determined, and you should have a strong will to tell
Yes.
yourself, no, this one is not good for me. But that
Yeah.
is also reinforced from the kind of background and training that you got from home and
Yeah.
from the environment you grew up in. Because
Yeah.
if that is what you see people doing and that is what people praise, then you also think that is the best thing to do. So
Yeah.
sometimes I don't blame the secondary school people who go and do, because maybe in their home the father drinks, everybody is drinking, the auntie,
Mm-hmm.
uncles, so they don't see
Mm-hmm.
anything wrong with drinking or
Yeah.
smoking. So they will also do
Yeah.
the same. So
Mm.
this also goes to say that parents, we are a good example to our children. So we should be
Mm-hmm.
careful the kind of things we do around them. They do
Yeah.
learn very, very fast. And let me just use this as on the soft side. I remember when I had my kids, and I told one of them that please wear slippers when you are going outside so that you don't get pricked by. And then my daughter looked at me, mommy, but you are not wearing slippers. So why are you wearing? I mean, she was
Uh-huh.
very old and she just told me. And then I looked at
Yeah.
my feet and I realized that
Uh,
at that time was speaking, I wasn't wearing
you
slippers.
are not wearing slippers,
So,
and you
what
said,
moral justification do you have to tell your child to wear slippers? Be
exactly.
an example of what you are
Exactly.
asking that young person to do, and then the person will also do it. If they see you doing it frequently, they'll see that it's good, and then they'll also follow that example.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of, I mean, these days when we are talking about, oh, the young people should do that, they should be better this. And I said, the problem the young people have today is that they don't have good models. Every day on the radio and TV, we see our leaders fighting, insulting each other, stealing. In fact, in the elections, look at it. I mean, just come and collect your results, and they are fighting. And these are the old people fighting over simple things. And because they don't want to tell the truth, everybody wants to steal. How do you expect the young ones to do better when we, the older ones, are not doing well? So that is a good point you make. And the other point that I take from that is the choices, that our choices have consequences. You don't have control over the consequences, but you have control over your choices, and every choice you're making would have a consequence. And that is good. Young people and all of us leading, let's be examples. Thank you so very much for those. We can go into a bit of that, but we're constrained. So we'll move on. So you from university, what did you study? And tell us a bit about what you study and how you got into work and what did you do and so on.
Okay, so at the university, I studied estate management. As I said, I wanted to be a surveyor actually, but I
Oh, like
didn't make
your
the
father.
grades. Yes, like my father, but I didn't make the grades to go and do quantity surveying in KNUST. So I applied for estate management, knowing that from that angle, I could just top it up and then go and do the. But interesting enough, then came one of these vice chancellors, Mrs. Kwashi Sam, and then she changed that before you can from estate management, if you can join quantity surveying, you have to get 70. And when I finished with an aggregate of 60, 16, I think 68 point something. So I couldn't make it to do it. So I had to
Wow.
end up with my estate management. I was not happy at all. But I got A's in my quantity surveying and all those other things that were related to that in the
Wow.
course. So I made it there, but not the final grade. So after that, I went to do my national service with Ministry of Education, non-formal education. And then when I got there, I went to do a few offices. I wasn't happy. I told you I'm somebody who asks a lot of questions, and I'm always somebody who's looking for
Mm.
something to do. So I don't like that kind of
Mhm.
environment where you go and then I was asked to go and file some files. So I was given a file quickly. I filed and I went back to my boss. I said, I finished. What else can I do? He said, you do this. You're essential service. I said, I won't relax. Then I asked him, what else do you do here? Then so he posted me to the stores, that I should go to the stores. That's where there's quite some work to do. So I went there. Then I saw three old men, sitting there. So he said I should go and work with them. So I was working with them. I got there. And the interesting thing about that is that, you see, when I went to the store, I was supposed to go and lead the three men to do documentation and thing. I didn't tell them I was there to lead them. I just went, talk to them, ask them, what do you do here and things like that. And this is one key thing I want leaders to also pick up. Because whenever we are posted somewhere to do something, we go there with that kind of attitude that I am a
Mhm.
leader. I've been brought here. I know everything. No, you don't know everything. You would need
Mhm.
to associate with them, find out from them. After you've done all your fact finding and you have
Mhm.
understood the environment and everything, that is when you come back, you are able to do a better solution or something that, will excite them. So I worked with them for 3 days with them knowing that I was asked there to come and lead them. And then I got all the information I needed. I threw it back to them. What can we do to make this? So by the time I left there, we agreed together and then started doing the documentation and the, putting, more, what do you call, we put things there so
System.
that we will systems and racks and all those things and labeling and coding and all those things. So I left there doing that. And once I was at the store, I asked myself, so these things that are brought here, where are they coming from? And
Mm.
then that is how I got that interest to find out that somebody procures, somebody
Mm.
buys it. So I said, okay, so how do they buy it? So I got interested. I, make all the enquiries, and that is how come I went to do procurement. I said, okay, then I'll
Yeah.
not be a receiver at the end, but I
Mhm.
will be the one to buy and bring it to the store, store. So I
Yeah.
found out about the course, and that's how I got associated with Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply.
Yeah.
So from the university, I went to work with, like I said, Ministry of Education. That was my first point. I worked there for 9 years. And then I moved on to Crown Agents, who are
The
also,
9 years, was it all in the stores or you did
no,
other
not all in
things?
the stores. I came to the office as a procurement. I started with as a procurement assistant, senior procurement officer, principal procurement officer, roles there. I worked with the Ministry of Education and the non-formal project for quite
Okay.
the 9 years. So all that I
Okay.
was doing a bit of the back office, a bit of the buying, a bit of stores, a bit of supply chain, a mixture of it. And
Yeah.
then I moved on to Crown Agents to go and do pure procurement. Crown Agents is a UK company, and I worked there
Mm.
for 13 years. And that is where
Wow.
my whole history of leadership really, really started. Because whilst I was in Ministry of Education, I went through, a few things here and there. But when I got to Crown Agents, and the story to Crown Agents is something I also want to share some so that the young ones can pick a clue. I was in Ministry of Education and my boss then asked me to go for a program at British Council.
Mm.
So I went to the British Council as a rep for my boss. But whilst I was there, I didn't stay still. That's one thing with me. I like to mingle, I
Yeah.
like to work. So I'm always carrying a smile with me. I was going around greeting everybody. Hello, my name is Stella. This. Apparently, whilst I was doing that, the country director of Crown Agents was there and had noticed me. So before I left, he just called me and said, "Young lady, what's your name?" I said, "I'm Stella." He said, "Oh, I love the way that you are going around and greeting people and how you are socializing. Look, I have a vacancy at my place. So if you
Wow.
are interested, could you have a procurement vacancy? If you're interested, could you bring me your CV? Because I love the way you are carrying yourself about and how you are doing things." So I sent my CV. So that's how I got the job, at
Yeah.
not applying or going through anything, but it is how I carried
Net
myself.
networking.
Yes.
Proper networking.
Proper networking is non-negotiable. You always have to open up when you go. That doesn't mean you should be a talkative all round, but be very
Mm-hmm.
deliberate, be very, target a few
Strategic.
people, strategic, and talk to them, and don't go talk. You see, when you go talking to them, it's not, how are you? Can I get your card? I need this and that. No, it's more to have a discussion, and you never know the opportunities that may open up to you.
Yeah.
So whilst I was in Crown Rangers, that's what happened. And another story to share is that whilst I was there, I used to dress very well because, like I said, one boss told me dress well because you never know. And I remember one,
You were killing people.
yes, I was killing people. My suits, if you see my suit and you see my hair, you see my shoes, my jewelry. Oh, I dress. So I dressed one day to work. I got there, and my boss said, "Hey, today there you have dressed." I said, "Yes." I was feeling so happy I dressed. And that dressing, we had visitors from UK and they were going to have a dinner with them. He looked around, I was the most dressed, so he invited me to join them. And that
Wow.
was another opportunity for me to even meet the managing director of Japan Motors and other people, which I would not have had the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
this because the young generation now, when you go to the secondary schools and the universities, they don't dress well. Dressing
Mm-hmm.
is another thing that can also open doors for
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
at places that you can even be able to sit with kings and queens,
Yeah.
So always dress well because you never know the door that will open. Because if you are not very dressed and somebody calls, "Let's go to the president," then now you are looking at yourself and you see that you are
Mm-hmm.
not appropriately dressed to
Mm-hmm.
join the delegation. So
Yeah.
I picked that and I have continued to dress well every time because it opens a lot of doors for me. So
Good.
from Ministry
From
of Education to Crown
the foreign
Agents,
events.
and then to Fidelity Bank, and then after Fidelity Bank to Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply as the country manager.
Wow. Wow. Now, share a bit of. Going to bring Sarah in shortly, but you talked about the first that you had chalked. Can you just share with us some of the first that you did? We know you're the first only woman in Accra Academy, eh? And then, what are some of the other things that you chalked the first scene, and what was the motivation?
Okay, so I was also, when I got into procurement and the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, I was also the first female branch chair because they call them presidents. I was the first president to sit in that on
Okay.
that seat, and it's
Good.
also something. In fact, I was sitting on that seat when I was in probation in Fidelity Bank, so it's something that I dared to do it. When it was
Wow.
a bit difficult, but I did take up that position, and then I did it for 2 years, and then I had a renewed mandate to continue another 2 years in that chair. And then being in that chair, I was also the first female to get a fellow for the institute, you
Wow.
know. And then when I went to Institute of Project Management too, I was the first female to get the fellow there. And then I also did a few things to distinguish myself there. And along my journey, most of the things I do, I become the first to do this, the first to do that. I have quite a number to say, but because of time constraint, I just wanted to share just this few, barriers that I broke. But what that did for me was that it's not more of it's the courage to do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
trust me, when I got the country manager position with Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, Sam, you will not believe this as I'm even going to say it. But I got that position. I was in probation, 6 months probation with working with Fidelity Bank. So I even offered it to the male. I told my male colleagues that, please, I can't do it. So can't come and do it because I wouldn't have the time. And they said, me too, I'm in the bank. I can't do it. I told another male colleague, he said he can't do it. I said, okay, then there was no option but for me to do it. So I
Yeah.
went to an office. I set it up. I got a lady to go and sit there. And then whilst I go to work, break time, then 1 hour, my 1 hour break, I'll just dash to that office, look at it and see whether things are going well. Then I go back. And I did that until finally I applied for a leave without, with absence and, and left Fidelity Bank. But it was a tough decision I took at that time, but I had to do it
Yeah. Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
decision came and I had to do it and nobody wanted to do it. So some of
Wow.
those decisions were tough, but I was prepared. I realized that life had actually prepared me for some of those things. So, and
Yeah.
I did it and did it well. So I
Yeah.
also got quite a lot of awards in those spaces. Then I
Wow.
was also the first person when I was there when Jospon group of companies, the Jospon, the leader himself, Mr. Japan, called me that Stella, I want somebody to chair one of my subsidiary companies to be the board
Mm.
chair. So
Wow.
I was the first board chair then also. And I said, me. And then he said, yes, because I've worked with you at Crown Agents. I know your quality of work. So I want,
Yeah.
and you see the word that he used that was, I know you have integrity. So I want you
Absolutely.
to come and chair my board. And
Mm.
Sam, you will not believe, I had not even sat on any board at that time. I didn't
And you
have
went straight
board
to become a
experience.
board chair.
And they said I should become a board chair. I said, how? So I went to my husband. I said, my husband, I've been giving this. So he said, yes, do it. So, and the interesting, we just Googled about how to chair a board. So that is also daring. So I picked it up.
Yeah.
I went
Mhm.
to the first board meeting. I read through the notes thoroughly, how to chair it, what you have to start with, and how the proceedings should be. And some, you will not believe it. I chaired this board, and by the time I finished, all the board members were clapping for me. And I
Wow.
chaired the board before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some of these, I'm saying this because some of these opportunities come your way.
Yeah.
Because one opportunity came my way and I just let it slide. So I
Mm.
want people listening to me today to know that God brings the opportunities to you, but it is up to you to accept it or deny it. I denied
Yeah.
one when I was, my child was in North Reed Lyceum. I was there when the headmistress called me and said, Madam, you have been recommended by a few people to come and join our board. And I said, what? And they said I should be in the financial position. I said, but I don't do finance. It's my husband who does finance. She was very disappointed. She told me, you have been asked to be part of the governing board at that time.
Mm. Mm.
And it was a recommendation. So I'm
Mm.
surprised. And I said, no, but I don't do finance. So I have to be honest and tell you I can't
Mm.
do it. And he said, the recommendation was so strong. So, madam, why are you rejecting it? So when I gave to
Yeah.
tell my husband, he told me never reject any offer that comes your way. Because the
Yeah.
moment that offer came from recommendation, God has already prepared you for it. You
Yeah.
just have to receive it, be strong, and then just flow into it. And then God will direct your steps. And that
Yeah.
is so from that opportunity, I decided that I will never, say
Mm.
no to any good opportunity that comes my way. I would always accept it, trust God for it, and then He will direct my steps. And that's what He's been doing in my life till now.
Wonderful. But that shows also that because the opportunities could come, but if you were not prepared, the opportunities would not have come. But you had prepared yourself, you've been courageous, you train yourself, and so on. And so it is when you are prepared, when the opportunity comes, you're able to seize it and you're able to do it. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, before Sarah come in, I mean, you've done all these things. What has been your philosophy of life? What are some of the things that have been driving you to be able to do all this courageous thing? Take the first that award here and there. What are your guiding principles in life that you want
Okay,
to share?
so I have quite a number of it, but I'll just share about 3 or 4 of it. One of it is that hard work isn't enough. And this is
Hmm.
true because if you do a lot of hard work and you are silent on that hard work, nobody will get it recognized. So when you
Hmm.
do something hard work, you would have to be an advocacy of yourself to let people
Hmm.
know the hard work you've done. This is
Hmm.
why you are saying that we are not getting role models for the young people. There are a lot of people who have broken ceilings and barriers, but they are quiet. So
Hmm.
nobody knows them. They have not said their stories. So
Yeah.
they have worked hard, but the stories are dying. And the young
Yeah.
people need that. So my first philosophy is that you work hard, but be an advocacy and let people also hear your voice and your story so that it
Yeah.
inspires people. My other thing is that comfort zone kills growth. You see, anytime you
Mm.
are in a comfort zone, you can't grow because you
Yeah.
become very comfortable and cozy there, and then you think you've achieved, but that is not all that God has put in you. There is a
Yeah.
seed in you that needs to grow. Your society, your institution, the whole Ghana is waiting for you to blossom so that we can
Yeah.
also get something from you. So let's not be comfortable in our comfort zones and try and break it and come
Mm.
out. Then perfection also slows you down. I've been somebody because I work with very strict father and husband. I always want to be perfect. But no matter
Mm.
how perfect I want to be, I realize that I never meet their standard of perfection. So
Mm.
I changed that. I modified the philosophy a bit, and decided that I will aim for something being done and done well, but not
Mm.
perfect, because in getting it perfect is slowing me down and
Mm.
frustrating me. But if I have done the thing and done it well, I've done it, then at least it's done. Otherwise, in
Mm.
that process of perfection, you might not even do it, and then you get
Yeah.
more frustrated. So that is also guided. Then my last philosophy is that networking is
Mm.
non-negotiable. Your skills are important. Everybody's skills that you have acquired are important, but
Mm.
it's the connections that will open the
Mm.
doors for
Mm-hmm.
you. So
Mm-hmm.
network a lot. And wherever you are, I told you it was a network that gave me a job at Crown Agents.
Yes.
So if you don't
Yes.
network, you may have the skills, but nobody will see those skills or would experience it. It's only from
Yeah.
networking that the doors will start opening for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, great lessons there, and we have a lot to dig in. Sarah, what do you say? And guys, as you're listening, if you have questions, um, or anything. I don't know if Joy is ready. Maybe we'll just take a quick 1 minute break. Then Sarah will come in. And if you have any questions or comments for Stella, because there's a lot from here, we're going to talk a bit into her family life because there's also how she's combining the family life with strict father, strict husband, children, with all the first things you're doing. How does it work when you are a corporate leader? How do you manage all that? We'll come to that. So, Joy, if you're ready, let's take just a quick break so that Stella can take some water, and then Sarah can come in with her questions.
For over a decade, CTL Africa Leadership has been more than a service provider. We are your dedicated partner in leadership growth, specializing in leadership development, corporate governance, strategy, culture, change management, and customer service. We focus on relational skills and personal growth essentials for effective and sustainable leadership. Our approach blends masterclasses, mastermind groups, gamified learning, and executive coaching to create impactful and engaging programs. Introducing our 2025 Corporate Development Catalog. For all heads of organizations and HR leaders, call us now to request your copy today and take your organization to the next level in 2025.
Thank you, Joy.
Great. Thank you so much. And let's invite guys, those of you who are in corporate life. It's the beginning of the year. We are ready for you. Bring into your organizations. You want to do your team building exercises. You want to energize the team for the year to achieve the high goals you've gotten for yourself. We are here for you. Great programs we have, and we encourage you to go to our website and explore our catalog. Sarah, what sayest
I'm,
thou? Interesting
I'm just,
learnings.
yeah, I'm just smiling here and laughing because she is also from my school. I'm also an Agis girl. I
Oh,
didn't
yes.
know.
Yes, Accra girls people.
I didn't know. And all I can say is that I can just even sum everything that she's doing into the motto of Accra Girls: aim high. Aim
Oh,
high. Our motto
oh,
is aim high. And I
Yes.
can
Oh,
see she's taking this, she's living it out and breaking boundaries.
yeah.
My takeaways has been really the first one is mentorship, how she was
Mm,
mentored when she went into Accra Girls with this uh, sister, whatever she calls her. Is it
yeah,
Miss
the scripture union.
Margaret?
I was in scripture union too.
Yeah, same here. But what I would like to say is that now that you had that experience, how do you mentor other people? Do you have a mentorship program for young people or for people in corporate, whatever field that you find yourself? And secondly, if you do, how do people get into this mentorship program if you have one?
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah, for the question. I'm not really doing it on the large scale type of thing, but I'm doing it on a one-on-one, quiet sort of. So I just shared with some that I'm thinking of coming up this year,
Mm-hmm.
to actually do it on the larger scale. But what I've done is that even the people I worked with, I had three ladies who I
Mm-hmm.
worked with under Charter Institute of Procurement and Supply. I mentored them and I've groomed them. And let me also confess that CTL has been one of my strong platforms that I have also learned a lot. So I enrolled all three girls to come to CTL, which they did, and then
Thank
I
you.
also brought them once onto the yearly program that you also do,
Live to
Yeah.
and
live.
Leave to
yes,
leave. Yeah.
yes, because it's yes, lead to live because it's also very good. And I've also told a few of my young people at church, told them about it. I shared the platform and said they should join today and listen. And I'm still on your platforms listening and learning. And even tomorrow, I'm also going to a leadership program in Gomoa for 5 days. So I don't
Okay.
joke with that. But when I come back, I don't keep the things to myself. I have a women's group in procurement that I also give a few presentations on different things,
Mm-hmm.
like time management. I've shared quite a number of things with them. So I'll let you know when I'm ready, and I can come and share a few with your platform as well. I do
Yeah.
that, but I do more of one-on-one, and I have a philosophy. I mean, one of the philosophies I love is that I don't like the school type of thing. I like the practical ones,
Yeah.
the practical
Mm-hmm.
ones. So that's why I've limited myself to the one-on-one and the coaching, mentoring, that sort of thing. That has more impact, not the
Mm-hmm.
big school. So I leave the big school to CTL. You do the big school for us. I'm
But
also
we
doing
agree
like
with you. We
small
also
one.
do the one-on-one, which is
Yeah, I do
powerful.
the small ones. Ladies who are interested for me to gather them, talk to them. I bring them together. We talk with about a lot of quite a number of things. So I do that, and then from the church angle too, I do that when I have the opportunity, and then from my
Yeah.
professional angle too, when I'm invited to the schools, universities, and things, I also do that. Talk a lot about ethics, which is something which is very dear to my heart. So I go
Mm-hmm.
and talk to the young people about ethics and how they can be ethical. I also talk to them how they should present themselves for the market, what the market is looking out for, and things like that. So I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as you're speaking, I'm hearing a lot of personal branding that is coming out of that as well. The personal branding, grooming yourself, and all that is part of it.
Yeah.
And you did say you've done all this for 30 years. So what
Yes.
is next? What is next for you?
Yes, like some said, I went into hibernation to ask myself, I've been doing this. See, what I've been doing is more of the corporate working. But I just had to pause. I actually went off Charter Institute of Procurement and Supply in 2023, December, and
Mm-hmm.
told myself I needed a break. So I gave myself a break. And in that 1 year, I've not actually been working. With Institute of Project Management, it's more voluntary. The position
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding now is voluntary, helping them to also set up that institute. But I'm asking myself, what can I do? Because I don't think I have to sit back with all the 30 years of experience. So I was telling Sam, I'm trying to put something together, and when I'm ready, I'll come and consult you so that you help me put it into shape. But that dream, whatever I want to do, came up by a lady who comes to massage me at home. She comes to give me, because I work with the bank, I used to have some back pains and back. So I normally do a bit of massaging and physio. So she comes to massage me, and then anytime she comes, I'll be sharing, a few of tidbits with her. And then she told me, Auntie Stella, every time I come here, you give me very good advice, both business, personal, and marriage and everything. And it's helped me so much. So, Auntie Stella, why don't you gather a few young women and talk to them and do something beyond what you have been doing with me? Because I'm gaining so much. And I don't think I
Mhm.
should be the only person gaining. I said, okay, I'll think about it. So that was what I was thinking of when I went into that hibernation for 1 year. And I'm praying to God that I put it together well and I launch it so that more young people and women will gain from my 30 years of experience, both in the corporate and then my marriage. Because I'm 33 years marriage and it's so beautiful. So I want to share what I've learned, the lessons I've learned with young women as well.
Excellent.
Great.
So it's great you've talked about marriage. So give us two nuggets from marriage on this platform before you put your program together. Give us two
Okay, so
nuggets.
Okay, so Sarah, let me just share one common thing that a lot of marriage couples quarrel about. And it took me years, not the first year, let's say after five,
You don't
6.
want her to tell us how he was eyeing that guy and
No, I will tell you, but
how,
let me tell you this story first. You see, in most marriage homes, the WC, the water closet,
Yes.
and then the Pepsodent story has always been the things that have always created a bit of tension in marriages. So for the WC, it's like, why do you come and see drops of, let's say it's the urine on the this? So I told myself, we have to understand our physiology. Both of us are
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
Women love to sit on the toilet seat. Men love to stand. And why is it that marriage couples don't just understand that? So we came with a simple principle. When you get there, lift the lid, do
That's
your
it.
thing, and then clean it and go. And then when I come, I drop the lid, I sit on it comfortable. I don't sit on any urine or anything. And then we are all okay. So both of us are using the WC comfortably. But why should it take us years to recognize that this is something that we can do peacefully? But we don't do that. And then why have you littered this? And then we'll be quarreling and fighting. The same with the Pepsodent story. The same with the Pepsodent
You
story.
the dada mass, you start in the middle.
Yes, and somebody too will start at the bottom. So my point is that bottom or middle, it took me years to also say that, okay, if you press it from the middle, when I get there, I press from the bottom, then it comes to the top. Then I can use it. So why are we quarreling? Because it's something that is close. So when you press it, it will go into the top or to the bottom, to the middle. So just do that. And that takes just a few minutes to do, rather
Yeah.
than quarreling and upsetting each other and then, exchanging bad words. And then at the end of the day, both of you are very unhappy. So in marriage, that's what we do. And one of the cardinal principles me and my husband did was that we when we started our marriage, we said there were he took the soft things, I took the easy things, and then he took the hard things. And he always says that story. He says, I will do the tough things. So what were we doing? I will do the little things in at home. Then he would do the school fees, the big things. Then he told me that, look, at the end of the day, women are very good at managing those things. So he brings it back to me to manage the big things. So at the end of the day, the woman is still managing the house anyway, but he is looking like he is doing the bigger things. That way, there's peace at home. But these things I'm sharing took years for me
Mm.
to know that these are some of the little things we can do to have peace, you know. And I always tell people that when we started our marriage, there was nothing like chop money. People like chop money. You have to give me money for home. No, we decided that our marriage was going to be a different model. So we were going to see, what do we have to do? What can you do? And what can I also do? That was it, period. So any month, these are the bills or these are the responsibilities. Which ones can you take? Because we are both working. Which ones can you
Mm.
take? Which ones can I handle? And since we did that, there has been peace. There hasn't been an instance where you should have given me 1,000 cities you didn't give me, or this and that. And we have never had shortage at home because we
Yeah.
understood that these are the things we needed to do to make the home running. I can decide I can buy the water, I can buy this, I can buy all that. So you buy it with your salary, your when you get your money. And then he can also do this. So he also brings that. And then we complement each other. And that is why we have had a peaceful, home. and married for
Exactly.
33 years.
So communication, I can hear, and the line is communication and planning together, putting
Exactly.
your minds together. Last but not the least, Uncle Sam is insisting on this. How did you meet your better half?
How did you catch?
What,
How
what,
did you
what
catch?
are some lessons? What are some lessons that you can share with the younger generation, or even those of us who are yet to get into a relationship?
Okay, so again, let me just say that when you're a woman, you need to position yourself very well. What I mean by position yourself is that in terms of how you dress, in terms of how you carry yourself, in terms of how you speak. People actually teach those etiquettes so that you know how to do it, and we have to learn how to do it, because you can get your husband or your better half at any place at any time. That is how God has designed it. So you never know where you meet, and then if you spoil that opportunity, because the man may be watching you, the woman may be watching you. If you spoil that opportunity, you may not get that opportunity again, and you may stay single because you missed your partner. So in my case, like I said, here I am at Accra Academy. I've come to compete with the boys, and then here comes a very sexy young man coming to do his practice. What do you call it? Practice. He came to teach us a bit of geography.
Teaching practice.
Teaching practice from University of Cape Coast. He comes in, and
Hey.
that day too is coming, he's wearing corduroy. You know, there was this jeans, that kind of, not jeans, so that time it was corduroy. He
Yeah.
was wearing it, very smart. And then he also had dimples. So
Hey. Okay.
he comes
So
into
you
the class.
were mirroring him, right?
Yes, I was looking at him. I said, who is this sexy man who's coming to teach us? Then I said, no, Stella, you didn't come for that. You came to learn. So, so
So
I looked at
focus,
him.
focus.
Focus. I looked at him, I spied him. I said, this is quite a nice gentleman. So I mean, then as fate will have it, he came, he taught, and then he made me the class rep because I was the female, in the
Hmm.
geography class. So
It was
class we then,
strategic.
yeah, so come and take notes for the class, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
One thing led to the other. But at that time, like I said, I was very focused to be able to do well because my parents were in Kumasi, and I'd come to stay with my uncle and things, and I needed to be focused because my daddy was a strict man, and I couldn't go back to say I'm doing this, so I didn't get good grades. So I didn't get interested in that relationship at that time. So it was after we left school, then we connected again. And then trust me, by the time we connected again, he had a girl.
Hey.
you know,
Oh,
he
okay.
had a girl. But somewhere along the line, I think we continued to still communicate. And then at a point, he told me, oh, he's left the girl. So am I still open? Whilst he was doing that, my mother was also a nurse at Konfanochi. And I was also, in fact, if you had seen me in my youthful days, I was so beautiful. So my mother was
You are
also doing some
still.
connections.
Beautiful.
You are
Was
still
doing,
beautiful.
was doing some connections with some doctors at Konfanochi. But I told my mother I don't like a doctor. Doctor doesn't have time for me, so won't have time for me. So I don't like doctor. That was the time they had their bungalows with their window views. You remember when you graduate,
Hmm.
then they give you
Hmm.
that. So she was looking at the doctors for me. I said, Mommy, I don't like any of the doctors. I want somebody who will love me just as I am and be with me as I am. So our relationship actually started when I came back to Kumasi and he was in Accra. But like I said, we have spotted each other, we've spoken, and then we continued the relationship. So the first day I brought him to my house. Sammy, you should see my father. Who were you looking? I was very strict, but when he left, when my that was then my boyfriend, when he came home, met my father and left, he was very strict. He sat in the hall. He would not even move away from us for us to talk.
He was in
Apparently,
the conversation.
he had looked at him, he has assessed him, and then he came back to Accra to come and tell his mother that my daughter have found a very good man. So, but he didn't tell me. It was my grandmother who then told me that your father said a man came to the house and he liked him. So, but the end of this story is that, so I've told you how I met him at Accra Academy, but we didn't connect then. And then later he asked me to be the school, the class rep.
Yeah.
So I was frequently going to him to go and get the notes, so that,
Mm.
increased the relationship. And then finally, the end of the story is that even though my daddy saw him and approved him, he didn't live, he had an accident, so he didn't live to see him. So when we
Oh,
married, he didn't give me to him. It was my uncle who came from London to come and give me out for the marriage. But at least what I was happy about was that he has met my husband
Yeah, that's
and he
yeah,
had
he
good.
liked.
approved me.
Yeah.
So at least it was good. And we have been there for the next, 33 years and we are still going.
Okay. Amen. So you got a
Wonderful,
blessing of
wonderful.
the daddy. Thank you. Sam, I think I've asked enough questions. Let's see through the,
But let's see.
the
We have,
comments.
I think we have 14 minutes to run, but a
Yes.
few comments. Let me quickly go through the comments and see what people
Yeah.
are saying. And
Yeah. I
okay,
think you need to, yeah, you need to bring Joy also on so that she will ask questions from the perspective of the younger generation than me. So
yes,
Joy,
okay,
if you
great.
want to join us,
Joy,
yes.
Joy, get ready, come on board. As I go through some of the comments, I have
Yes.
Lysian here, my good friend. He says, Happy New Year from Tema. Uh, Sarah has quite a bit of things to say. She's sharing her learning. Evangeline is joining from Accra. Evans here. Okay. Evangeline says, I love listening to Auntie Stella. Auntie Stella. She inspires and encourages me.
Mhm.
Great. Tracy Amago is here. We are watching. Okay. Tracy says, some women are so emotional when leading. This questions their capabilities. So we'll just go through it and you want to choose which one you want to comment on. But she continues to say, I had a boss who will not even respond to your greeting because you had an argument, because you had an argument at home with, she had an argument at home with her spouse. Okay, so that's the emotional side, and I think we've been advised to watch that. Uh, Obo Richie says, turning from Huawei, Joy has a few things. Says, thank God for Scripture Union. It shaped a lot of us. Yes, it did. Kwame JB from UK says, great to be here. Emma says, enjoying the program. And Olive Okan has quite a bit things to say. Akwaba to you all. And okay, I'm seeing if I can get any question. Uh,
I'm also
Ima
looking.
says, thanks, Olivia. Okay. He says, very lively and encouraging and progress driven lifestyle and life
Okay.
shaping as well.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have one question which Joy has highlighted.
Okay. All
First question
right.
from Kwame JB.
Okay, so Kwame is asking, is striving for perfection another form of procrastination? How does one break out of that trait and get things done? So note that, Stella,
Okay.
that's one question, and let's see if there is any. All right, so a lot of good things, people sharing their learnings and so on. All right. So, Vivian says this is impactful. I love all that you shared. A lot of takeaways to shape my life. Thank you so very much. Okay, and I think your nickname is Taga. Somebody says Staga on high. I think it's your initials. All right. So that's one question and those comments. Any comment from that? And Joy comes and let's see. Joyce. So
Okay.
Stella.
Yeah, okay. So I think he's asking whether is perfection another form of procrastination. I
Yeah.
think you see in that in trying to be perfect, sometimes yes, you will procrastinate because you want to make sure that you are getting it right. So you want to do something, you stop, you want to go and look at it again, come and do it another time or things like that. But the most important thing, as I said, how do you break away from that trait? The
Mm-hmm.
procrastination itself as a trait is not bad. It is how you see it and how you use it. That's the most important thing. Because sometimes you would want to do something, then you have the feeling to hold on. And this is one of the, this procrastination, let me talk about it. It's one of the traits that I've learned from my husband. I am always in a rush to do things because I want to get it done. And then you tell me, wait, hold on. And I'm like, I told you this, but you have not given me a response, or you have not done this. And he said, hold on. And that holding on, sometimes what I've learned from it is that holding on then in itself gives you some answers that then facilitates what you wanted to do. You see, because if I had done it at that time, there could have been some damage or something that you need, then I have to go and do damage control. So sometimes if you procrastinate, it's good, but it's not to be doing that all the time. But how do you break out of that trait? What I was sharing was that trying to be perfect discourages you from, or it doesn't allow you to do something. So you start something and you are not able to finish it, and that even frustrates you the more. You see, let me give you an example, because I said this point because I dealt with two strict people, my father and husband. My husband, if you are going on a road with him, even if you are going to, let's say, KFC, whilst we are all happy that he's taking us to KFC, we'll ask you that, did you see this? And I'm like, what? I didn't see it. And then you ask it, so you are on the road from our house to KFC, you didn't see this post, you didn't see that. I didn't see it. He said, pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
You know, pay attention. He wants it to be so perfect. And I'm like, we are going to have some chicken at KFC. What
Why should I look at that?
and even the signboard of New Force or Mahama, what has that got to do with it? I'm going to get my KFC chicken. That is the mood in which I am. So that's, I'm thinking of what sort of choice I will make when I get to KFC, you know. But he wants you to be perfect in everything. Like I said, even perfect in the road that we are using to KFC. I said, no, I can't be perfect like that. So my friend, how do you break out of that tree? You acknowledge whatever that person who wants you to be perfect is saying. See the best you can do and meet the person at a point and get the thing done. You see, because you see, those people who are pushing you to be that perfect, they can. I call my husband just in time man. Look, he can just come and sit midnight, and within midnight he can do a 58-page document. That is his gift. My gift is not to do a 58-page in, you know, one night. So I will acknowledge that, oh, thank God for you, and then take some guidance from you. How do you do a 58-page? And then I try to see if I can do, let's say, 4 or 10 pages. At least I've done something, you know. That is my pace. And then later I'll try to see if I can increase it to maybe 20 pages, so that I'll try to catch up with you. But I'm not going to be perfect like you. So that is the best way to do it. Acknowledge it, learn lessons from those who are moving that fast. But don't try to also be like them. Otherwise, it frustrates you. You see, so get the thing done rather than trying to be exactly like Sam or exactly like Sarah. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. You cannot be like Sarah. You cannot be like Sam. But you can be like, you know, in a way. So look at their positive traits and try and see if you can also increase your pace a little. And by so doing, you see that it will help you. It will help you a lot. So that is the kind of answer that I can give to Kwame JB. So Kwame, your question is
Wonderful. Joy, what's yours now?
So, I mean, this has been an awesome conversation. I think the comments tell us that our viewers and our audience are really enjoyed. A few things I picked up, and I love to just re-echo it about, you know, you've always found yourself in a space where there's competition, but you didn't fight like, you know, it's like, I know my place, I have to take this. But I always see a lot of wisdom, a lot of strategy in how you took your place, yet in a very competitive space. And I think that as women, it's one of the things that we always have to, you know, elevate, using our wisdom in male dominated industries to always shine and make sure you get the job done, you know. But you can't just go there and just bully your way. You use your gift, your wisdom, you use your appearance, you use your composure to pave the way for you. And that is one of the things I admire so much about you, because it still shines forth now. And then you also talked about some of the difficulties you had. You know, your dad was strict, but I didn't hear you complain about them. What I heard you say was that those things shaped you, because I don't think you would go back and change them. They've made you a better person. Sometimes we complain about upbringing. I mean, a lot of my mates in the millennial and Gen Zs, when we don't like something about our parents, I mean, we don't want to deal with them anymore. But then why don't we see them as a blessing, shaping us to become who we are today, and rather move forward with those learnings? I mean, I hear that from your relationship with your husband, with some bosses you had, that everything you found as a challenge, you leveraged it as a strength to, move yourself forward. I mean, I can imagine being the only girl in a secondary school. I mean, there's a lot of determination. One of the questions I have for you personally is about courage, because we all have self-doubt. We all get to a point where we question who we are and our abilities. I mean, what were some of the moments you may have thought about these things, and what actually helped you to be courageous, to dare to do things like trying to compete with an all-boys school, one getting into a space of being the first woman to sit on a board and lead certain big things you have done, especially that internal conversation. Women do a lot of self-talk, speak themselves down, so what are some of the things you have done in order to just get yourself to be, determined and courageous in your journey?
Okay, so let me answer that with some two practical examples. What I didn't share was when I was in Crown Agents, I was a female among two males, all procurement specialists. And whilst I was there, my boss sat on my promotion for 8 years. And the men were paid 3 times my salary.
Wow.
And every opportunity that came were given to the men for training. And I wasn't getting the opportunities. I was very frustrated. But thank God, like I said, you always have to get support systems, good support systems around you. God is one, which I'm a Christian and a very prayerful person. But my husband has been one of the, very strong forces for me. And he said, you see, you are very, very frustrated. Don't be frustrated. Channel that frustration into learning. And that is where then all the first, like I felt like punching my bosses and all those things for sitting on my promotion, all those things. But you see, God also does a lot of miracles. Like I keep saying, position yourself. Because when all the training were given to the men, one day one of them was supposed to go and do a training when I was in Crown Agents somewhere. And then once he was going home, he hit somebody on the road and he had a police case. So he couldn't go. And then my boss put me in as a substitute because we had already done that as a contract and somebody had to go. Yeah, I was not trained, but I was supposed to do it. I picked it again with courage, went and did it. And the feedback that came was so positive that my boss was shocked. That it then opened doors for me to, for him to now give me the privilege for training, that I was a training material. But the same boss who did that, when I was going to do my EMBA, there was another story. When, you get, something, written by your boss recommending you. This boss wrote that I didn't have leadership skills. I was not very good at this. Then I got my former boss to also write a recommendation for me. He said, I'm a good leader and this. And trust me, you know what I did? I sent both letters. Wow. I read it. I saw what he wrote, but I sent it. And when I went to University of Ghana, they became curious to find out who I was. That one boss was saying I didn't have the skills and I was not good. And another boss was saying, so the lady called me, the lady who does the registration said, you're this thing by recommendation. One was, but I said, I know, but I put it in. But the question is, how do I get the courage? The courage is that, like somebody would have thrown that letter away. I didn't throw it away.
Yeah.
I kept it. I have met a lot of challenges in my workspace, but every time my husband would tell me, use those negative energies because you need to be challenged. Like I said, if you are in your comfort zone, you are not challenged. So those things that are annoying you, that are making you angry, channel them to develop yourself. And that is how I went to do my EMBA. And that also opened other doors for me. You see, so wonderful. I could have sat back and be angry with all of them, but I didn't. And when I finished the EMBA, I didn't get the promotion in the Crown Agents, but then another door opened for me to be a country manager for a CIPS, which is a UK company. You see. Yeah. And the interesting story is that this boss who did this to me, I was in Fidelity Bank when he came there looking for a job after we've all left Crown Agents. Wow. If you were me, what would you do? But again, my Christian principles and ethics came to work. So I told my staff, I want you to give him an honest assessment. And if he should get the job, tell me. If he shouldn't get it. So I give them some parameters. They did it. and he didn't get the job. So I had to tell him he didn't get the job. But I was so hurt, and this was time for revenge. But I didn't do revenge. I didn't revenge. I did what I had to do. At that time, I was the procurement manager then. I was looking for a job to procure something for Fidelity Bank, but I didn't do revenge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things happen. But what I have learned in all that is, one, the support system could be from your father, from your friend, from your mother. In my case, it was my husband. And my daughter is also another strong one. But the millennium question you asked, when my daughter started working, she'll go and then every day come back complaining and this and this and this and that, like you said, the women. Then I told her I got her a diary. Joy, I got her a diary. I said, every day you come, record all the things that are annoying you and all the things that happened in your day into the diary. After you have finished, just look through and see those that you can work on and work on them. And then those that you can't work on, that you need to refer to your superior, then you refer. Because they didn't give me a check, they didn't do this and this, and then I'm very angry. They didn't allow me this, and I'm eating, they came to call me. That's the millennium spirit. That's good. Because we didn't even have a chance to complain. You have a chance. So document it. And she didn't like that at all. But I think it worked. Yeah. And that is what I'm sharing with the young people on this platform. Please, when you come back, document all, because you need an avenue to vent your anger and all those things. Document, then look through and say, they didn't give me a check. Why didn't they give me a check? Is it something from me? If it's an attitude or something I showed for which they didn't, then work on it. If it is something that you really deserve it should be given to you, it wasn't given to you, what's the best way to get that check? You see, when you write it, you don't lose track of it. You follow up on it. But then you know where the action lies. Is it you or is it your superior? So I told her, she started documenting. And then from there, I had my peace of mind. Otherwise, every evening, my ears with all sorts of complaints. So that is how we solved that problem. Document it. And what you can do in your capacity, do. And then what mommy can also do to help you, I will do. And then what your boss can also do, they will see, they'll do. Then we'll teach you the act of how to speak with your boss together. But the last point I also want to share is that for the young ladies, if you want something, like you said, use your wit, use your wisdom, use everything. Don't go fighting. A lot of women go fighting. And this is a lesson I also learned. I realized that I don't need to fight. So I don't fight. Even with the male counterparts, they don't like fighting. They don't like challenge. They want dominance. So let them enjoy their dominance. With one of my bosses, he doesn't even want to see my face. So I don't go to his office. We developed a mail system. So I'll send you an email. Boss, did you say this? Then you reply back. So we're doing emails instead of facial thing because he didn't want to see me and I also didn't want to upset him. So let's learn, ways of getting to our bosses, rather than always going with the confrontation. They don't like it. The men don't like it. They want dominance. Let them enjoy their dominance. And let's also use our wit and, the skills that God has given us to be able to get what we also want. That's all. Because even at home, we are able to control the most difficult man. So why can't you with wit, and a smile and nice things and be nice to the person will come down. Then you can make your case. Rather than always going aggressive and fighting, you won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Well. So soon we are running way out of time, but we've learned so much. There's so much. If we sit a bit more, I know with so much we will learn. But Stella has promised us she's coming back. She's going to share a few more things on different things. So we want to thank you for the time. We will give you just the last minute to give us your final parting thoughts. And I can tell you from all the comments that we have received, this has been a great evening. Your life has been an inspiration to many, many, many people on this platform. And we can't thank you enough for beginning the year with us and sharing such an inspiring story, especially for our ladies. So on that note, let me give you the space to talk to leaders, talk to young people. What are your final words? Thank you very much, Stella.
Okay, thank you. My final words to the leaders is that when people are brought to us for us to mentor or to look after, we owe a responsibility to God, and just thank God that that person was brought to you. So don't let us frustrate them. Let's try and groom them, mentor them to bring out the best out of them. Most leaders have frustrated people and have made them even want to end their lives because the boss spoke to them very harshly or insulted them or said something that broke their spirit. I was fortunate for one of my staff to tell me that, Madam, the words you spoke were so harsh that I didn't like it and I apologized. And from that day, I treated her differently and closely because it's a gift God has given you to mentor. So do not break these young people who are given to you. It's a privilege from God. They could have been given to any other leader. So, leaders, we have a big responsibility to look after these people and share life experiences. We also have to be patient with them as they are growing because they were brought to us and we have to groom them. And then for the youth, I just want to say be patient and be bold and take risks because what we do is that a lot of us seeds that have been planted inside us by God and the seeds are waiting to germinate. Our fear is keeping the seeds in there. But Ghana institutions, our churches, our families are waiting for us to blossom so that they can also, like I said, if you're a flower, they can get your perfume or they can get your fruit. So all the fruits that have been put in us, please, let's blossom. Be patient, be bold, let's take initiatives, let's take the risk, and be ethical in everything that we do. And with that, God will make you blossom. And please, you can start very small, and then God will water, He Himself will shower on it, and then it will grow. My case, as I said, my promotion was sat on 8 years. A lot of things happened to me. But when God's time was up, I blossomed and became what I have become. And I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences with the youth in 2025. I thank CTL for this wonderful platform, and I thank all who tuned in, and I pray that God would keep these seeds in you. You blossom, come out of your cocoons, and let's see the kind of beautiful butterfly or flowers that you are to become a benefit to all of us and society. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And thank everybody who has been on this platform. I'll bring you Joy to tell us what is next. And we have a lineup of, great leaders who are going to share with us in this quarter. And I think we also have our leaders, our learner session coming up. So Joy, let's know what is coming. Stella, thank you so very much. God be with you.
Okay, all right. So our time is up. So very quickly, just three announcements. One of them is on our growth journey. So we've opened registrations for the 10th cohort of growth journey. And then we're still, I think, is it past 15th? Okay, we have 4 days more until our New Year discount is over. So you get a 10% discount on the growth journey. So we'll share the links in the comments so that you can join a group of industry professionals to design your own personal growth for the year. And then we also have the Walking the Laws of Leadership. This is a mastermind and master classes designed to help you walk the laws, understand the laws of leadership, which is based on John C. Maxwell's book. Then the very last one would be for the month of January, we're reading a book called The Power of Now. The Power of Now. I'm going to be sharing that also in the comments so that you join us to read. I was just trying to pick up the full title. I think The Power of Now by, okay,
Eckhart
Uncle Sam,
Tolle.
you have that with you.
Yes,
Yes.
this is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle,
Ladies,
yes. I
yes.
started reading it. I started
Yeah,
reading the soft copy of it. I think it was published in 97. That's the first year it was published. So there are few copies. There's also the audio book on YouTube you can also listen to, but just grab yourself a copy. It's quite an old book, so it's fairly
yeah, it was
available.
revised, reached in 2205. But it's a
Okay.
great book, and it says
Yeah.
that a guide to spiritual enlightenment. This is really a good book for your self-awareness and developing your resilience and keeping focus and being present. And this is a very, 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 I've read it and I'm reading it again for this month. I started reading it. And if you see my copy, I've done a lot of markings in it. But I'm reading it again, and it's a great book. I encourage you to get it, either a soft copy or a hard copy if you are old school like me. And let's read along. I know we have 20 days to do this, so please, you have time, you can finish
You can
it.
read 10 pages a day. You
Exactly,
finish.
and you'll be fine. Actually, 10 pages a day is enough to finish. Thank you, Joy.
Next week, we actually have a session with one of our favorite guests, Dr. Susie Aku Popolampo. She'll be coming on the session. So stay tuned and join us next week, same time, Saturday, 7 p.m. on the leadership platform. She'll be delving into financial literacy for leaders. As you know that this season 1 is about leading self. So we want to really take a reflective stand to look at ourselves first before we look at others as leaders. All right. So that's all by way of announcements. We've also shared about our 2025 catalog for leaders. Like Uncle Sam has shared, we want you to have a copy so that you can go through it and assemble, it's a buffet of programs we have for the corporates and also for individuals, including executive coaching, mastermind sessions, master classes, team building. We can come to your organizations. You can have your sessions at CTL. And so we want to make this available for you. So you just have to call the number. The video would play right after this so that you can call the number after the session. We've run over time, but thank you for staying with us for today. It was a very packed conversation. And so thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around. Uncle Sam, would you close it? Or I should just wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone. And see you again next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. All right. Stay blessed. Bye.
For over a decade, CTL Africa Leadership has been more than a service provider. We are your dedicated partner in leadership growth, specializing in leadership development, corporate governance, strategy, culture, change management, and customer service. We focus on relational skills and personal growth essentials for effective and sustainable leadership. Our approach blends masterclasses, mastermind groups, gamified learning, and executive coaching to create impactful and engaging programs. Introducing our 2025 Corporate Development Catalog. For all heads of organizations and HR leaders, call us now to request your copy today and take your organization to the next level in 2025.